करून घेऊन देते.
व्हिडिओ बंद ठेवायचा होता.
मी नीट वाचलं पण नाही.
हे माझं इथे सुमंत सोने 2
तेच वाचलं मी फक्त, बाकी सगळं वाचलं.
गुड इव्हनिंग सर.
Good evening, Sumanji. Good evening, Elizabeth.
गुड इव्हनिंग एव्हरीवन.
Good evening, Varsha madam. Raji. Melita madam. भोळे सर जॉईन नाही का झाले अजून? Good evening, madam.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody.
गुड इव्हनिंग मॅडम एव्हरीवन.
Melita madam, good evening.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I said. Yeah. Bhole sir will also be joining in minutes. अमित भोळे सरांना लाव ना जरा फोन. अमित.
हाँ सर कॉल करतो सरांना एक.
हाँ भोळे सरांना. People are joining. We have talked about you, Vinita madam, several times. Badrunisa madam has very, very high regards for you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks to Badrunisa also.
I said that we need judges. One of them will be external. One
Okay.
of them will be internal. So we want an unbiased judge. She said that I have some.
Okay.
Your name was the first one.
Good afternoon,
She
sir.
was my first PhD candidate.
Okay, okay.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rohankar sir. Good afternoon. Dr. Usha Karunakaran, she is there. Is Dr. Usha Karunakaran the one from Ferguson College? Hello. Dr. Usha Karunakaran, are you able to hear me?
Hello.
Is that the one from Ferguson College?
Yes.
Then please
Remember me?
Yeah, please.
How are
To
you?
see you, man.
कभी देख, you been this side?
Which side? Where are you? पहले ये बता कहाँ? I don't know.
I'm at
where you are.
KLE College.
Okay, you're at KLE. Please let me see you, na. But उतना तो कुछ.
Hmm.
Long, almost 30 years we haven't seen each other.
Yeah, I was in the corporate. No.
Okay. So I'd like to see you. Please. Just as you have unmuted yourself, please put on your video also so that we can talk for a minute or two.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I saw the name and I said, Are Usha is here? So, at which unit of KLE are you?
Yes.
Which unit of KLE are you? KLE is a very big institution.
I didn't get what you said.
KLE, where? Is it in Bangalore
No, no,
or
no, not in
elsewhere?
Bangalore. Navi Mumbai. Navi
Acha, at
Mumbai.
Navi Mumbai. Okay, you're on the way. When I come to Mumbai, I see KLE
Yes,
institution.
right. It's on the highway.
It's on the highway. While crossing, after you cross
Yeah.
Panvel, a little ahead, you find uh,
You
KLE.
are in HV Desai College.
Yeah, I'm there in actually.
Good to know. Yeah, after so many years.
Yeah. Yes. I saw your name. I said, if it's Usha Karunakaran, it must be you.
Yeah, we have to do our first NAC filling. It's a new college, no? It's about, and this is the, I think, 5th year.
Because KLE is a very big group.
Yeah, it's a very big society.
Almost 1,000 institutions, I think, so maybe 500 plus or so. KLE, I have seen KLE at
But this is
Karnataka, it's very very strong.
Maharashtra,
Yeah.
first one. Started in 2013-14.
I had been to Belgaum. There KLE has its own
Belgaum,
big
yes.
unit. Belgaum, Hubli, Dharwad, everywhere KLE
Yeah,
is
yeah.
present.
There are some schools in Maharashtra, but the college, this is the first one.
I think so. KLE in Dharwad, in Belgaum is medical. They have a medical unit also. If I'm not wrong. I think so. Here with this group of is a group of ours, IQC Cluster India, and we are into training.
Since when have you been connected with this?
I found it 3 years ago.
3 years ago. That's
Yeah,
really good.
and in Maharashtra, IQC Cluster has played a very big role,
Mhm.
especially more than 700 institutions could get accredited, and in some or the other way we have improved them in just
Mhm.
1.5 years time also.
Okay.
Currently, I am associated. We are conducting this one program on quality, whereby it works on how to write down policies, how to write down the processes,
Okay.
how to get them audited, how to audit them. In other words, setting up an absolute quality control within the organization.
Yeah,
That's
that's true.
the greater thought. This particular group has conducted more than a few thousand webinars and not webinars, actually seminars, and now it also includes webinars.
I see.
And many things we are associated.
Okay.
We have reached more than 22 states in India.
Mhm.
Almost every state, someone or the other is associated with this.
That's really nice.
For this particular program, we have participants from 7 states. There are around 7 principals and directors. Just 1 minute. Bhaskar. Modi sir, namaste.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. We have Dr. Vinitha Pai, madam, who is the external judge along with you.
Okay, okay.
We have Dr. Bhole over here, madam. He is the mentor of our group. And for any and every decision that we need to take with respect to uh, the activities or wherever we have any problem, we see to it that Bhole sir helps us out. Without which things don't work out. So he is a mentor. He was with Garware College and he's a microbiologist. He has retired now. So, and we have Vinitha madam over here, who is from Mangalore, and she will be the judge, external judge or external referee. We have already, sir, जे तुम्ही दिलेलं आहे मटेरियल ते त्यांना पाठवलेलं आहे आपण ऑलरेडी फॉर द जजिंग. तुम्ही जो सिक्वेन्स दिलेला होता आपल्याला क्वेश्चनेअर्सचा, वी हॅव ट्राइड टू फॉलो दॅट.
Good evening, Dr. Bole.
सर आवाज मोठा करा जरा तुमचा. हो सर.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Badrunisa madam, good evening. We'll start in few minutes. Participants are joining. So within few minutes we will be starting. What's the time, Suman sir?
Actually, we have to start now.
We need to?
We have to start in a minute or two.
We'll start in 1 minute.
Yeah, no problem. 5:05 we will start, sir. It's 5:03 now.
Yeah, it's right.
Elizabeth, madam, okay?
Yes, sir, ready.
Badrunisa madam, good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Vinitha ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, Badrunisa. And good evening to one and all.
Good evening.
Okay. Can we start now? We should.
Yeah, we can, sir.
Yeah, please. Yes, over to you, Suman sir. And team.
Yes. Yes, okay. Thank you, sir. May I request Elizabeth, madam?
I quote, "Quality is not an act, it is a habit," unquote Aristotle. Quality is always the result of excellent work without compromise. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome the founder members of IQAC Cluster India, our judges, dear participants, and our very dear mentors who are a source of inspiration and a guiding light in our journey in pursuit of excellence. IQAC Cluster India and White Coat Technologies Private Limited presents 4 days national webinar on development of institutional quality with reference to NAC criteria. A quality initiative by IQAC Cluster India, who is committed towards creating awareness, nurturing and mentoring higher educational institutions pan-India in building and sustaining quality culture. The cluster's mission statement being not competition, but collaboration. So once again, a warm welcome to one and all to today's webinar. Thank you. We kindly request all of the participants to rise for the national anthem.
Jana Gana Mana
गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all. May I request Pahade sir to introduce the cluster and its activities.
Respected Pai Madam, respected Ghore sir, respected colleagues, founder members of the IQAC Cluster India, respected attendees for the program, respected participants of the course. It's a great pleasure to introduce IQAC Cluster India. It was formed in 2017 after the new guidelines of NAC were released. There was a big chaos all around, and how to sort out this issue was unknown to everybody. That time, a few enthusiastic teachers here in Pune, who also were IQAC coordinators, we met together. There was a small seminar that we had conducted at our college, and it was titled in a very vague way, not competition but cooperation, NAC Guidelines 2017. And all the 80-90 participants who were there for that particular webinar did not understand what is not competition but cooperation to do. The word started with a not, a negative, a negate. And we proposed out that until and unless we colleges, we IQAC coordinators come together, nothing is going to happen. This particular situation that you are able to see, where you are actually talking about numbers and where so many things have changed drastically, we need to share, we need to know, we need to understand. Something very fantastic about this business called education is we never share. Two colleges don't share, two teachers don't share. They may sit in the class, they may sit in the teacher's hall. They will talk everything, but they will not share how I teach. They will not tell what teaching methodology I have tried today. As a result of which, we are on independent islands. There are 40,000 plus colleges and another 20,000 standalone institutions, including some universities, some 60 plus thousand organizations here in India. And they are all on those 60,000 islands. We have too many goods with us, but we don't share. And because we don't share, we suffer. We all face the same problems. We all try to find our way through it. We all make the same mistakes, and then we make those mistakes again. Because we don't share with our colleagues and we don't share amongst with the organizations either. So everybody makes a mistake and keeps on making those mistakes. Unfortunate part is that those mistakes cannot teach us because we don't share. And therefore, IPC Cluster India came up with the thought that why not share? Let us share what you know. Let me share what I know. It can be corrected, it can be okay. And this is how it started out. Initially, we came up with a WhatsApp group, and very soon we had to close it primarily because the rush was so high that 256 got filled up within 2 weeks' time or so. There are 256 IQC coordinators, principals, in another one month's time or so. So we went to WhatsApp 2, 3, 4, and then we understood it's not possible. So we shifted to Telegram. Kangude sir took a great lead in shifting to Telegram, and now we operate on Telegram, which can accommodate 10,000 people. Currently, there are more than 2,500 people on that group. The second part that we went is that IQC coordinators need training. They are not trained. NSS coordinator is trained, but an IQC coordinator is not trained. He does not know what to do. He does not know what to do. The principal does not know what to do. So whatever comes is what he starts doing now. If he lasts on that position for 5 years, he understands possibly these are the jobs to be done. So we went in for training with HRDC and with universities. We then that year conducted 7 HRDC and university programs of 7 day each, 1 week programs, and we could train 700 IQC coordinators now who know their job. Then the third part was that we went in for formation of clusters. Today we have more than 13 clusters with 300 plus colleges in Maharashtra and another 3 clusters in Karnataka, 2 clusters in Karnataka, which have another 50 members. So something like 350 colleges are linked up together. We went in for seminars, webinars. When the new AQR was launched, we conducted 10 seminars of 1 or 2 days each and tried to train 1,500 people that time physically. During the lockdown period, we have tried to reach 7,000 plus people. Now we are getting registered and we will be a registered body very soon. We have started the courses, and this is the first course that was launched, which is on quality. Development of Institutional Quality is the name of the course, which talks about how to create policies, how to write down the policies. We are not taught, so we are trying to work on this. So how to write down the policies, how to follow the policies, how to audit the policies. We have become a national organization. We are associated with NAC, we are associated with UGC, we are associated with HRDC, we are associated with a very large number of universities, and moreover, we are associated with the teachers. And therefore, Cluster truly is an organization of the teachers. More than 90% of the work that goes on for free. And for many areas like Jammu and Kashmir and some union territories which are at the periphery, the work that is given to them is absolutely free. We don't charge them a single paisa. They should only tell that I am from Jammu and Kashmir, that's all. That program will be free for him. The objective is to reach all over India. The objective is to see to it that quality procedures set in. Objective is to create new leaders. The objective is to create new leaders who will work in those areas and they will make those organizations better. The work goes on 24/7 and it's a dedicated team. And this is in very brief that I would like to talk about IQC Cluster India. We have our website. You can go to the website called www.iqcclusterindia. You can see what work we do. You will get all our addresses, and wherever you have a problem, from whichever part of India you are, you can just WhatsApp us and we will communicate. So with this very brief introduction, I will hand over you back to you, Elizabeth, and let's go ahead with the program.
Thank you, sir. May I request Dr. Badru Nisa, our course mentor, to give some insights about the course Development of Institutional Quality.
Good evening thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening to all the panel members respected people who are here today, Bhole sir and Vinita ma'am, Piyush sir, and all the participants along with the course people. A warm good evening. Yeah, I would like to just say a few words about the course. The name of the course itself says that it is a development of an quality in the institution. In general, as Pahade sir was telling just now, that every person being trained, like NSS officer, NCC officer, or anybody who is in a college will be trained for that particular post, except an IQAC person, IQAC head or an IQAC officer in the institution. It happens to be that the IQAC person has to struggle a lot to understand what exactly has to be done, what is the job role, what to be taken out, what not to be taken out. So by the time the person understands, it goes sometimes 1 year, sometimes 2 years, depends upon the kind of experiences that person will get. Now IQAC Cluster India has brought in to a new course called this Development of Institutional Quality, which gives an insight that what exactly an IQAC person should understand, which is required for accreditation purpose. Starting from the understanding of the organizational vision, mission, procedures, policies, how to link policies with the procedure, policies with the objectives, then how to identify the key points or key indicators for each process and the procedure. Finally, which need to be audited, which not to be audited, this understanding, when has to be taken, how has to be taken. All these are the insights of this particular course. Now the present members who are principals, who are IQAC heads, who are the eminent personalities who has enrolled to this particular course, is going through this this aspects in hands-on. They are doing it, they are writing the policies, they are understanding which was there already and what need to be improved. And now the Cluster India is also putting them at the national level to showcase their assignments or showcase their way of learning and put into it. The main idea of Cluster India to bring this is that Cluster India need a sound people or an quality people to be a part of Cluster India. So training is being done for these people to become a part and improve the quality processes to the colleges who are really in need and can able to do their own procedures, policies, and improve overall improvement of India in accreditation purposes. That is the main objective of getting this into the platform. Also build a great and a new team for the quality purpose or to audit the colleges, understand the audits, do the academic audits, which is different from the financial audits or any other kind of an audits which will go. So keeping an objective to get a good team into a Cluster India, one thing, and second thing, help India to get into the accreditation process easily, and also to make the people understand that what that minute things which makes a large difference in accreditation. These are some of the points which I wanted to tell about the course. Further, I think the next aspects will go. Thank you for giving this opportunity to give some insights about the course. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your views about the course. Ladies and gentlemen, what you see today is one among the many outcomes of the course.
Amit, sound needs to be done.
Unknowingly. Yeah.
Thank you. May I request Dr. Suman Sohni to introduce the judges and take over the session forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Respected judges, all the panelists, respected members of IQAC cluster, and all the participants who are attending this national webinar from across the country. Good evening to all. It's my privilege to introduce today's two judges whom we are invited not just to monitor the performance of we participants, but also to guide us further. As Piyush sir as well as Badrunnisa madam has rightly said, that the very objective of IQAC cluster is to create the new leadership. And I believe in today's time, this is one of the greatest objectives, which we rarely see actually. A true leader is always not afraid of others, but rather he creates new leadership ready. And in that spirit, really we appreciate IQAC cluster. And therefore we thank IQAC cluster for not only thinking of such kind of training workshops, but also giving us an opportunity, a platform, rather a launch pad, so as to test ourselves and to mold ourselves to take the responsibilities further. So the next 4 days, it's our testing time as well as our molding time also. And on this first day, the two teams are going to present their understanding of the two topics. And today we have two eminent judges, and it's my privilege to introduce them. It is rightly said that soldier is never tired and a teacher never retires. I think this is very appropriate to a person called Dr. Bhalchandra Bhole. Though technically he retired from Garware College, Pune, from the Department of Microbiology, rather he is now more involved in mentoring the people like us. And in that sense, he continued his teaching profession. What a noble job, sir, you are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Bhalchandra Bhole retired from Garware College, Pune. And thereafter, he was the key person in giving the shape and the form to the present IQAC cluster, what we are seeing today. He is one of the key mentors of IQAC cluster, and not only mentors only for IQAC cluster, but for we all. He is also associated with RUSA Maharashtra chapter. And through that capacity, he is also taking number of workshops throughout the state. And by this time, he must have reached to hundreds of people like us, and thereby making our understanding of NAC and other procedures simple to understand and easy to implement. We also have with us today Dr. Vinita Pai Madam. She is the professor in biochemistry department of Yenopoya Medical College, Mangalore. She has completed her PhD in biochemistry. She has also done her postgraduate diploma in bioethics and medical ethics. And additionally, she has also completed 2 Coursera courses, one from Stanford University and another from Zurich University. A classic example, madam, from your example that learning is a lifelong exercise. We will definitely take the spirit and the motivation and the inspiration for your example. In addition to that, she has almost 30 plus years of experience in teaching, some administrative experience also. At present, she is a PhD guide. 4 students have completed PhD under her guidance, and few more are there pursuing the PhD. And very interestingly, when the NET and JRF were just beginning stage, or rather not known to many, she was the one to clear that JRF test way back in the year 1988. So that is a great inspiration, madam, again. So we are really fortunate to have these 2 eminent judges. And I'm sure at the end of these 2 sessions, your inputs to us will definitely guide and motivate us further. With this introduction of these 2 eminent judges, I once again welcome you all, and I proceed further to introduce the first topic and the team members of first topic. The team 1 is going to present their understanding on the topic called goals, vision and mission statement with reference to NAC and the institution. And the 3 panelists, my colleagues rather from the course, my fellow colleagues from the course who are going to present this course, we have one Dr. Prabhakar Rohankar. He is a principal of Jagadamba Mahavidyalaya, Achalpur, Maharashtra. His core subject is chemistry. He was a member of Scientific Observer Committee of Indian team for 44th International Chemistry Olympiad held at Maryland, United States of America, Washington in the year 2012. He has also in his credit the great award, Tata Infosys Award for the year 2012. And in addition to his teaching and other activities, he is also a founder member of NGO called TREE, that is Team for Restoring Entire Environment. With his team, we have another member, Dr. Varsha Shukla. She is associate professor in the subject of microbiology from Ramanarayan Ruia College, Dadar, Mumbai. She is IQAC member and also the member of RUSA project coordinator team in her college. And the third member from their team is Dr. K. Lata. She is from Ramanujan College, New Delhi. She is the IQAC coordinator of that college. Her core subject is commerce and management. And she has been a member of teaching learning center of that college. And at present, she is the in charge of Department of Management Studies. So I wish all the best to my fellow colleagues from this course. The stage is yours, my dear team members.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to begin our talk with a brief introduction. We all know that universities and institutions have 4 prime functions to perform for the society. That is, they have to do education, basic scientific research, community service, and training for a qualified workforce. And for any institution to really succeed in doing these, the institution needs a lot of strategic planning, which is basically an instrument that allows for long-term plans to be made and for understanding the risks as well as the opportunities that are faced by the institution. So to help us all know how this strategic planning in terms of identifying goals and specifically writing down our vision mission statements, we as a team, myself, Dr. Varsha Shukla, my team members, Dr. K. Lata and Dr. Prabhakar Rohan Karsal, we three of us are going to now present to you what we have conceptualized and what we have brought together for all our teaching colleagues here to know what these strategic plans should constitute for. So I request now Dr. Lata to take over the session and tell us more about vision mission statements.
Yeah. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, yes.
Honorable judges of the webinar, respected Bahade sir and Badrunisa ma'am, and fellow colleagues. Ma'am, I think you'll start sharing the screen also. Yeah. I've been a commerce student for past 4 decades. So when we talk of goals, vision, and mission statements, we always go back to our own subject and try to find meaning to these words. The first thing that comes to one's mind is, what do we want to achieve? What is the desired long-term result? If we have the desired long-term result in front of us, then we know what is our target. Where do we see ourselves, say, 20 years from now or 30 years from now? To begin the session with a very good example of Microsoft, the vision of Microsoft is a computer on every desk and in every home. So this says about what they wanted to do in future. So that is how they started. But if we have to define why we want a vision, let's have a look at the presentations that we have made. Organizations are defined as coming together of group of people with a common goal. So since we are talking mostly about educational institutions, private or government, we will be talking about our own goal. What is our goal? Perpetual existence of organizations demands going beyond goals. Goals are short-term plans that we make, and vision will be the desired long-term result, just as I mentioned. Serious organizations develop a lofty future vision to fulfill, which lend purpose to their long-term existence. With this, we have to also have missions so that we accomplish what lofty future we all wish to see, which will lead us to the realization of this lofty vision. Next, ma'am. Now here I would like to take an example from our own College Teaching Learning Center. The MHRD has taken out proposals, had given us chance to present our proposals to the MHRD to get a teaching learning center for the college, where we had to train and give faculty development programs and induction programs for the new teachers as well as already existing teachers in the academic world. So when we were trying to find out what we have to do if we get the teaching learning center, what the government wants us to do, we were trying to get to where do we see ourselves in, say, 15, 20 years time from now. So that actually made us think of this reaching the unreached vision, wherein we said, wherein we wanted to reach all those remote corners of India where people sometimes do not lack connectivity, sometimes they lack access to education in any other form. So this was what came to our mind, and all of us did a lot of brainstorming, and we reached at this conclusion of reaching the unreached, reaching all over India and abroad. And we have actually succeeded in Ramanujan, because this was something that we saw as our vision, say some 5 to 6 years ago, when we were making the proposal for application to Teaching Learning Center from the MHRD. Next. Next, ma'am. While we were actually planning about the Teaching Learning Center, we had initially thought of these smaller goals, which we may come to later come to this, which will be called the missions of the Teaching Learning Center. But then this is how we reached the vision, which was reaching the unreached. And we are trying to do our best to reach the unreached in all corners of the world. The purpose why any organization should have vision and mission is, all organizations are defined by the direction of their pursuit. What we want to do in future is where we will be directed to. So we have to plan and organize all the activities that we want to do, from small term to long term. And we have to mobilize our resources, utilize the resources in the same direction of vision. And in the absence of these policy formulation, resource utilization, planning and organizing of activities, we cannot reach the vision and mission. That is why we have to actually write down our vision and mission. In this particular presentation that we make, we will help the participants understand how we should go about writing the vision and mission statements. Next. When we are talking about how to write a vision statement, there are a few things that, especially the colleges, since we're talking about educational institutions predominantly, all the colleges, sometimes if it is the first NAAC cycle, we have to struggle to get and to understand what is our vision statement. But when we are through in the process, then we clearly understand what should be our vision statement. The vision, it should be a written statement that describes where an organization is going and what it will look like when it gets there. When it gets to the future, what will it look like? It gives clarity. We know clearly where we have to reach, and set stage for improved decision making and targets. It has to be inspirational to all stakeholders. For an educational institution, the stakeholders will be students, teachers, and all non-teaching members, everyone who is involved, the parents of the students, everyone, all the stakeholders. It should be inspirational for all stakeholders. It has to be very idealistic, so that we have to reach that target. Only if it is idealistic, we try to reach the vision as we have written it down. It has to be an emotional appeal also, so that everybody can connect with it. It has to be aimed at finding a signpost to the future, so that we know where we have to reach. It should be like a direction that we have. It should highlight unique and distinct mantle of the organization. Whatever we do has to be distinct to our own organization, because otherwise it becomes difficult to attract all the stakeholders and own the whole vision statement and also take the mission along. Next. A quality of a good vision statement will be, like I've just now mentioned, reaching the unreached. It has to be brief, dynamic, explicit, and owned by all stakeholders. Owned by all stakeholders here, I mean that when a new teacher is taken in an organization, he or she should be introduced to the vision and mission statements of the organization. Vision, we know where we want to reach, and mission, we know how we want to reach there. And it has to be challenging, because if even individually, if we have a vision, if it is a very short-term and easily accessible, easily achievable mission, then it is not challenging. We actually lazy around it. And only if challenges are kept in front of us, we will feel the belongingness to that vision, and we will try to achieve it. It has to depict a good contribution to the society. Now, as I just now mentioned, we have to keep these things very, keep all these points in mind before we write a vision statement. It should be very short, so that we can kind of memorize it, and minimum words, if they are used, it is easy to quote it anywhere. So 2 sentences at an absolute maximum, but the shorter it is, the better it is to memorize and make others understand and relate to it. It should be specific and it should describe a unique outcome that only our own institution can provide. We should not use words that are open to interpretation, because then people will interpret it according to their own understanding of the subject. We should keep it very simple so that everyone related to the organization can understand it. It is the same as saying that, you know, the moment you read it, you have to understand what the organization stands for. In the beginning, I mentioned like a computer on every desk and in every home. This was the vision of Microsoft. So it is as easy and as simple as that. It should not be, it should be ambitious enough to be exciting, but not ambitious that it looks actually, you know, only an idealistic and unachievable statement. It needs to align to the institutional values that you want your people to exhibit as they perform their everyday work. Next. About to write a vision statement, we have to first know where we want to go, what is the output, then define the unique twist that is the uniqueness of our own organization. Like we said in Teaching Learning Center, we want to reach the remote corners of the world. So that was very unique to our TLC, and our TLC program proposal was instantly accepted by MHRD. Apply some high-level quantification and add relatable human real-world aspects to the vision statement. Next, ma'am. I would like to take one example from here. Carnegie Mellon University, it has a vision statement. It will have a transformative impact on society through continual innovation in education, research, creativity, and entrepreneurship. The word continual here actually makes it, you know, achievable, and at the same time, you have a target always to achieve. Next, ma'am. Now about the mission statement. The mission statements are the short-term preparations that we make to achieve the vision statement of the vision of the organization. And the mission should be actually directional so that where we are today, we reach the vision. So it is the present day, what you're going to do. So it has to be directional. It should be inspirational and motivational. It should reflect the core value of the organization. And it has to be action oriented so that we know what we have to do so that we reach the vision in the future. It has to be a plausible destination leading to the realization of the vision, and manifestation of organizational philosophy and culture. Here I want to say, for example, you know, if our organization is, you know, it is a government organization, its philosophy may be different from a private organization. So here the vision should be such that we make it amply very clear to the people who are stakeholders who are related to the organization, so that just by reading the vision statement and the mission statement, they are able to understand the manifestation of the philosophy and culture of the organization. It is more specific guide to action. Next. Here I would like to quickly go through the
Lata ma'am, you are not audible.
There is a connectivity issue with her. Some connection issues there.
Yeah, yeah.
May I request then somebody from your team to take over?
Yeah, just go ahead with the
Yes, yes.
program. QT joins.
Yes. So Lata ma'am has now yeah. So she was going to tell you about the Teaching Learning Center's mission statements, which she has specified here as to accelerate teaching. See, if you read these statements, you realize how you can relate it to the earlier slide. To accelerate teaching learning process by way of promoting independent, creative, and critical. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yeah, please take.
Sorry for the interruption in between. Yeah. So finally, to enable development skills, engaging latest technological devices to help faculty in capacity building for curriculum designing and scientific assessment evaluation, to develop innovative programs that will strengthen the inclusive nature of education by bringing the disadvantaged and marginalized sections of the society. This actually made us realize the reaching the unreached as the vision statement. Next, ma'am. I will now hurry up with the things so that Dr. Prabhakar also has to present his. The 4 questions that we should keep in mind is, what are we doing in this organization? Who are we? What do we do? Why do we do? And for whom we do it? Where do we reach? Next, ma'am. This is one good example of a mission statement. So wherein we have clearly mentioned what is the program, who wants it, and for whom it should be made, and what the primary functions of what and why. Next, ma'am. Checklist for mission statements. The statement should be clear and concise, distinctive and memorable. It clearly states the purpose of the institute, indicates the primary function of the institute, and it should also indicate the stakeholders and the institutional priorities and values. Next, ma'am. These are some of the mission example, and I think we are running short of time. If now I think I will hand over to Dr. Prabhakar. Before that, there is one more vision and mission differences that we wanted to mention. So we can, I think visible on the screen, visible on the, yes, sir?
You complete your presentation.
Okay, sir. So the meaning and what is the difference between vision and mission? Mainly, I would like to go it from upside down. I would like you to see it from the bottom. To the purpose of mission statement is to inform, whereas the purpose of vision statement is to inspire. The short-term, long-term aspects of it that I've already mentioned, and what we are at present and where we want to be. That is the vision. And what it is, and cause and effect relationship is also exists between vision and mission statements. And finally, I wind it up saying a statement that describes the institute's objectives and its approach to reach those objectives will be the mission of the organization, whereas a short statement that depicts the institute's aspiration for the future position of the institute, where we want to reach, will be the vision statement. Next one. So these are some of the examples. Now over to Prabhakar, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, judges, Professor Pahade, sir, and team. You just heard Dr. Lata, and I greet her for spontaneous presentation on mission and vision. Dear friends, she has rightly pointed out in her first slide that organizations are defined by the direction of their pursuit. And what are the elements of the direction? Our elements of direction are vision, mission, and goals, and the objectives. And an organization can achieve only when it plans. Dear friends, I will begin my presentation with a quote from Nido Qubein. I quote, "Your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine what you start." Next, madam. Next. Dear friends, higher education is a public good, and its ripple effects is felt throughout the society and on the economy. The cost of poor planning leads to disillusioned faculty, staff, and students, poor use of vital resources, and failed accreditation reviews that cause institutions to lose its prestige and funding. And we are aware that nowadays RUSA is funding only on the basis of CGPA that institute has. Next, madam. So, for an organization to grow, it should plan, and this plan document should be a living document and not just written and put in a drawer, and they should be regularly reviewed and amended as per our need. Dear participants, we know that one principle, PDCA, this principle is used by the management people: plan, do, check, and act. We have to plan, then do, and check whether you are going as per plan or not, and then act accordingly. If not going, then amend your plans. Next. Next, ma'am. Dear friends, why there is a need for goals, objective, strategy, and tactics. I call it as a GHOST. Goals, G-O-S-T, GHOST. Now, to maintain pace with the fast-moving dynamics of social, economic, and technological change, we need these directives. It gives us an opportunity to reflect on the accomplishments. It gives view what needs to be done, and it provides us insight to design strategies and to see that whether our institution is going in a right direction or not. And it provides us a sense of transformation to take on global changes and challenges and not to fall victim of stagnation. Planning is essential as no organization has assured future. And the threat of becoming socially irrelevant is that constant.
I request Lataji to please continue. Most probably there is some net connectivity issue over there. So if you could continue ahead, that will be better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Since we have been talking about vision and mission, goals and strategies are the short-term tactics that we apply, and we give different names to whatever we have to decide. Goals from the broader to the narrower, we will arrive. Goals, objectives, and strategies and tactics, we will call them GOST, GHOST, so that it is easier to remember and understand. Fast-moving dynamics of social, economic, and technological change, we opportunity to reflect on accomplishments, review what needs to be done, design strategies in the right direction, and provides a sense of transformation to take on global changes and not fall victim of stagnation. Here, I would like to mention that during the times of COVID, we all, or whether it is in the classroom or if it is on a longer platforms, on a bigger platforms, national, international, etc. Planning is essential as no organization has its future assured, like threat of becoming socially irrelevant is a constant task. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There are a lot of discussion and confusion. Yes, yes, sir.
Ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Dear participants, there is a lot of discussion and confusion that can be used the direct, and some terms are legibly used just like goals and objective, and some are definitely are this, and but they reflect what is to be done and how it is to be done.
Sir, I request you let Lataji continue because you are not audible. There is a lot of breakage of the voice, so she is able to put it. So
Okay.
because there is no connectivity, proper connectivity.
Okay.
Yes, Lataji, please continue.
Madam, please continue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have a lot of confusions about what goals mean and what objectives mean. We use them interchangeably, and some reflect the difference between what and how. So this is why we should actually understand about the tactics that we use, the strategies, the goals, and the objectives very clearly. What is short term, what is long term, and what we exactly do to understand these goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics, which we will see and understand better in the following PPT. Yes, sir. Next, ma'am. The goals are broad, high-level primary outcomes that support a collective vision. What are we trying to achieve? It's more qualitative than quantitative in nature. We have to define the subjective, qualitative aspects of what we want to achieve. The objectives are specific, tangible, and measurable implementation, steps taken to attain an identified goal. What needs to be done to achieve the goal? In this sense, the goals become a broader objectives that we want to achieve, and objectives are much narrower. For each goal, you should develop 3 to 5 objectives. Next, ma'am. Next, ma'am. Here, there is an interesting depiction of a picturesque depiction here. Your goal might be learn the balanced. It should be, goal is broad, intangible, and abstract. whereas an objective is more specific, more tangible, and more measurable. Next, ma'am. Specific, that is, they tell how much exactly, 10% of what has to be achieved, what behavior of whom, or what should be the outcome. That is what we mean by specific. So now here I would also like to draw your attention to the word SMART C. These SMARTC are the things that I am trying to mention here: specific, measurable, achievable, and the two RTC in the next slide. Specific, that is how much. Measurable, that is information concerning the objective can be collected, detected, and obtained. The participants of this program, for example. The achievable, it has to be feasible to pull them off. And RTC in the next slide. Realistic, ma'am, we missed that slide. Realistic or relevant to the mission. Your organization has a clear understanding of how these objectives fit in a site of vision and mission. In whatever vision and objectives, they all should take us to the vision. Realistic or relevant to the mission, timely, and it has to be challenging. Your organization has developed a timeline, and it has to be challenging for the group to set its aims on insignificant improvements that are important to members. Next, ma'am. Here I would like to show a picturesque depiction of strategies. The strategy here, we can see in the picture that it is a jungle and mountains on the other side, two sides of the river. The strategy is to reach to the other side of the river will be to take the river rather than go through the mountains and the jungles. But when we talk of tactic, it will be at present, what is the small term plan that you will have, that will be to use a boat. Next, ma'am. So strategies are approaches taken to achieve the goal. How do we accomplish our objectives? Strategies define a general approach or method. They consider existing barriers and resources. The people, the finances, the materials, etc. are the examples of strategies. Yes. Whereas tactics will be, anything that we use, like for example, we use in daily life in our classes also, just to see if the students are there, we use various tactics of, grasping and having their attention on us and what we are speaking. So tactics will be like that. You have sometimes, they can be in very loose terms called as gimmicks also. Tangible tasks and action items. Tactics are devices or actions taken to achieve a larger purpose. They are also a what and not how. A what has to be exactly done. That is the tactic. Tactics describe specific activities. They are on a smaller scale and more specific. Like in the previous slide we showed, taking a boat will be a more specific example. How you execute it. Yes, next, ma'am. This is what we have said. We have just compiled it in one slide so that it becomes much easier to link all the three. So goal will be what the organization is trying to accomplish. Objective will be measurable results that support the goal. And strategy will be how the objectives will be achieved. And tactics will be actually the tools that you use to execute, even however small they may be, tiny they may be, but nevertheless, they are the tools used to execute the strategy. Next, ma'am. This is a representation of implementing GHOST and linking it with vision and mission. The progress reports and what actions we have done, the actions that we have done, the activities that will be done to achieve the objectives. The strategies will be the choices about how to best accomplish these objectives. The changes and outcomes and impact a plan is trying to achieve will be the objectives. And that is how the objectives are related finally to the goals and finally to the vision and mission. We have some examples here. Sir, if I'm running out of time, we can leave the examples.
No, madam. You continue.
Okay. So goal is recruit and retain a diverse, expertise, research-oriented workforce to meet the needs of the organization, where the objectives will be to increase the percentage of active policies, open positions filled within the targeted deadline. Maintain the, so if we have the baseline as 60%, first will be 80% and 90%. So this will be how we will try to recruit. The base will be 60%, and how we achieve these will be mentioned like this. Yes, next, ma'am. These are some of examples of the strategies. Advertise at national and international levels. That will be some strategies. Sometimes repeat the advertisement so that one becomes visible. Use our contacts and additional incentives such as higher scales. Tactics will be some of the examples of tactics. Devise your own method in addition to statutory provisions. Like we give small term incentives to the workers or to the lower level, sometimes to the higher level, so that there is an attraction or there is an incentive to do the work. Increase the percentage of elevated positions. Sometimes it is in the form of promotion, and sometimes it is related to academic infrastructure and research, etc. Provide sufficient infrastructure. That will also be a tactic, so that you have, for example, the net connectivity also becomes a sufficient infrastructure that one can provide to a teacher, facilities and other amenities. Next, ma'am. These are some of the examples that we thought of taking up. A company specializing in information technology, sales and service. The mission was to make the company the largest information technology service company in California. The objectives and the goals were achieve a leadership share of market in the IT computer services segment within 24 months, within 2 years. Be known as the very best yet affordable solution to IT computer related needs. Next. Convince our market that this company is the best by associating with high-end people and entities. Execution will be TV and print ads using well-known professionals and local business owners as endorsers. Here, the tactics that can be used will be promote a maximum of 4-hour response times for critical computer emergencies. This will be a very nice tactic to attract. Gain affiliation with at least 2 major computer hardware or software manufacturers as a dealer authorized servicer. This also attracts the customers. Next, ma'am. These are also examples. If time permits, I read it out, else it is on the screen for everyone to see. Next, ma'am. And to achieve all these, to implement these tactics and goals and objectives, strategies, whatever we have planned. Next slide, ma'am. We all have to have that feeling of belongingness in an organization. So the teamwork is actually what actually takes us to the final destination of vision. The law of chain, that is what helps you to climb all the hurdles, cross the hurdles and read. The strength of the team is impacted by its weakest link. One weak link can spoil the whole chain. So the teamwork is an important aspect of the ghost that we have been talking about till now. Does it matter if many of our employees? Yes, sir. Will you like to say something, sir?
Okay. Dear participants, the strength of the team is impacted by its weakest link. And and only she grounded and poured out 10.8 million gallons of oil. And what was the impact? One of the disaster of its history, that fishing and came to an about 250,000 birds were, and
Lataji, please continue.
Yes, sir. So our weakest link can be a problem if we, in the teamwork, because that then spoils the whole show, the tactics, whatever tactics, strategies we may have. If the teamwork doesn't happen, then the organizational missions and vision cannot be achieved. So each person in the team has to be, energized, enriched, and given power and strength to work. So because if there is one weak link, the whole purpose of all the hard work, it all makes the goals and objectives unachievable. Last, ma'am. The last slide, ma'am. I would also like to mention that this PPT is also a teamwork of all three of us. Dr. Prabhakar Rohankar, unfortunately, his internet did not allow us to hear him. Myself, Dr. Lata, and Dr. Varsha Shukla. You are what you constantly do, which makes excellence not an act, but a habit. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for the patient hearing.
Take questions.
Thank you. I personally thank team number 1. Despite some technical glitches, you had managed your show nicely. Personally, I have taken 2 or 3 important takeaways from this presentation. Is that
Sir, there are some questions.
Yes, I will take those questions. If the team number 1 is listening me, just pay attention to these 2 questions first. And then I'll also go to the chat box because there are some people who have raised their hands also. So question number 1 is, how do we correlate motto, vision, and mission statement? Could we justify the same, keeping in view the future reference?
Yes. Varsha, ma'am, will you like to answer?
Go ahead, ma'am. I'm actually having a little weaker connection. I've just noticed and I'm a little worried.
Okay, ma'am. If we do not know where we have to go in the future, then no amount of planning can help us. So it is basically the future reference it always should be there, and the future reference should be such that it is kind of memorizable. You can actually memorize it, and then we can use it and we can introduce it to people whoever is walking into the organization, and only then you can relate it to the goals and objectives and whatever you are doing in the present. So whatever we have to do in the present, that has to be related to the future. And if we do not know where we have to go in the future, then these cannot connect. So that is why everything should be connected, and only when we know the motto, the vision and mission, we can connect all these together, and we can reach where we want to, what we want to achieve, and where we want to reach.
And the second question is actually, what is the source of information?
Well, in some of the slides, if we have taken some examples or some quotes, we have mentioned the sources in the PPTs. All three of us have put in together, and the Teaching Learning Center vision and mission, of course, since I was part of it, part of the team which actually took the proposal to the MHRD, so I could lay hands on that. So source of information sometimes is our own individual college institution also, and some certain information are from the common net or the Google searches or whatever information we have got in the course that we are doing, where Dr. Pahade and Dr. Badrunnisa ma'am have helped us with information.
Yes, thank you, madam. Any other question from the participants or from the panelists?
There are hand raises, I think so.
There is one more question in Q&A section.
Okay, I'll just see that now. Okay. Yeah, the question is, why mention strategy and tactics? Is there any guideline as per the NAC to mention strategy and tactics?
I think I can answer that if Rohankar sir is still not having good connectivity. So basically, although strategies and tactics we are mentioning it here, the reason is because even if NAC is not asking, for the effective functioning of our institution, for implementing the strategic plans that we have, we will be having shorter goals, shorter objectives to reach our vision mission. So always, whenever we are having some kind of goals or objectives laid down, we will not be able to achieve them unless we strategize and unless we have small tactics that are used. So cumulatively, tactics together can help us in achieving in implementing a strategy. And that when we implement that strategy, we will be able to achieve the objectives that we have laid down and the goals that we really want to specifically achieve. Because every time when we say that vision mission statement, it is going to be a very broad kind of a statement. So achieving the vision mission cannot be possible unless and until it is broken down into tasks, which we put down in our objectives. And to achieve those objectives, we'll have to have many different strategies and tactics. I hope I'm
yeah, you have answered it. To add to, they don't ask you what tactic you have used, they come and see what tactic you have used. So that's where the peer team comes into it.
Yes, sir.
Sir, could I add a little bit here?
Yes, please.
I think the person who has asked this, there is a direct reference in the NAC framework, the QIF, saying that what is the institution's strategic / perspective plan.
Yeah,
criteria
6.
Right. So there is a strategic plan. In fact, the perspective plan has not been really asked now, because that has got only a weightage of 2 now. Whereas the strategic plan has been asked in 2 places, that are your POs, COs and PSOs in line with your strategic plan? That is number 1. And number 2, in criterion 6, they have put a / strategic / perspective plan. So it is directly asked, and therefore your strategy as outlined has to be really clear cut. And in that context, it has to go in with your, let us say, the objectives more than the mission and vision. Because mission and vision, again, are reflected directly in the last metric, that is 7.3.1. That is, is your distinctiveness in tune with your mission, vision, and objective. So there is a very direct, let us say, approach to whether your whole working of the college is in line with some strategy. So that is how it can be really done.
Thank you, sir.
That's all I wanted to say.
Yes, thank you. There is one hand raise is there. We can take this last question. Dr. Pushpender Kumar. Amit sir, if you can unmute him, let him ask the question.
Thank you very much, sir, ma'am. I had just one question, that we have taken a few examples from IT industry. It would be really good if you can take one example from Indian educational institutions or university, and what kind of vision they have had and what kind of mission they have. So that will really help us to understand why they have selected that particular vision and how they are performing as per the vision or mission. So that will really help us, that why, for example, I am Ahmedabad, they have vision mission. So can we reflect on some Indian institution, which, because if you talk about IT or industry or business, they have different approach, different strategy mission. But if you talk about educational institutions, our approach, our vision mission would be totally different. So it would be really good that if you can reflect on why this particular institution, especially educational institutions, like you have given one Ramanujan example. So that will really help us to frame our own mission and vision. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Can I answer this, Pahade sir?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I've also actually put down the one for ISER. I'm sharing it now.
I would like to answer it with an example from my own college where I studied. Shri Ram College of Commerce is the considered to be the best college of commerce in India. And if you go to their website and see the vision statement, it states to become a college of global choice. I'm not exactly sure of the wordings, but this is the meaning that is conveyed. They want to be the college of global choice. So, if you have already achieved something, if you are already in the top ranking colleges of within Delhi first and then India, and then now your vision is to, reach that. So that is your vision. Whereas, when we're talking about mission, we are talking about how to go about achieving that. When your vision is so idealistic and, the target is to be a college of global choice, all your tactics, strategies, objectives, goal, and mission should take you there. So this is one of the best examples that I could think of when we are talking about any educational institution. And whereas if we are, in our own college, we are in we are in the South Delhi of South Delhi part of south of Delhi here, where our college is instituted. And our vision and mission will be to help all those, we have a lot of juggi areas, slum areas near our college, very close to our college. So they all come to our college, and we have made it our vision to help those students also who do not have facilities to pay their fees. So we are always talking about, equitable availability of this education to all the students. Even if you are not able to pay the fees, our college actually takes a lot of, comes out with many such platforms where the students get financial help. So these are some of the examples that come to my mind straight away.
Lataji, furthermore, Sri Ram College also makes a mention saying how they are going to achieve their vision statement through a mission, where they make a mention of not only the best quality teaching, they also make a mention of creating written materials so that they are able to reach the world. They are also making a mention of the alumni, where they are, in other words, that our responsibility does not end with teaching; it continues with the alumni. This makes Sri Ram College's vision and mission statement one of the finest vision and mission statement that I have seen amongst the Indian ones. And there are many more. But something very important is they should always be crisp. They should be brief so that they can be remembered and they can be acted upon very nicely. I've also seen some very bad vision and mission statements. I mean to say, not the vision and mission may be very good, but it is not achievable. You can never make a mention, we will be following the footsteps of XYZ person. No, that is not the organizational mission that you are able to see. It should not happen. So, secondly, an organization is different from an individual. So, individuals' objectives cannot be the objective of an organization, and an organization is into a dynamic state. Whereas, and therefore, vision and mission statements need to be counted very seriously. Sri Ram College vision mission statement is really very nice. Everybody should see it. Though I haven't visited that college, I nearly know no one from that organization. But anyway, so let's go ahead. Anything else to be said by anyone?
Mr. Piyush, yes, sir, this is Vinita. I have a question for the team one. An institution such as medical university, medical health science university, has different colleges. Each college has 20 departments. We have clinical setup, we have teaching setup, we have preclinical, paraclinical, and clinical departments, outreach programs, you name it and they have it. Now, is it advisable to have vision, mission, and all the allied points which we discussed right now, department-wise, or should they fall in line with whatever the institution has set up for them, the university has placed for them?
Yes, ma'am. Can I answer, ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, with the limited knowledge that I have about these, for each department, we should have a vision and mission statement and the smaller goals and objectives and strategies and tactics also. All these should actually finally lead to the organization's vision. Otherwise, there is no meaning of having vision and mission of each department. Whereas if you have individual departments' vision and mission and objectives, then these are like the short-term objectives that we have, and each department excels, but the final destination has to be the vision of the organization. This is what I would like to say. Maybe Varsha ma'am can add more to it.
Yeah, I agree to what Lata ma'am just said, because when there are many departments in an institution, then to align themselves with the vision mission of the university of the institution per se, it is necessary that they also define their vision and mission, because they are the ones who are finally going to contribute to the institution. So to achieve the vision of the institution. So it is advisable for them to have their own vision mission statements also.
Yeah. So the question is, who sets them first? Does the department set them first, or the university sets them first?
I think the larger the institution should first do it.
Set them first.
Here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please,
Okay,
your expert.
I'll just endorse what Dr. Lata and Dr. Shukla have said. If you look at the medical colleges manual, they have actually started in this direction very directly by distributing the 11 different categories of medical, let us say, areas. And that is what they are actually looking at. That if you are looking at, like what you said, Dr. Pillai, is that if you are looking at each and every department, then each and every department has a different role. Like paramedical will have a different role, and pharmacy would have a different role. Maybe your nursing college, if it is attached, has a different role. So these departments which you are saying within a singular area of work would definitely have correlated objectives, because you cannot work in isolation, and therefore a cumulative effect of all these departmental objectives should reflect in the vision and mission. So the vision and mission would be singular, whereas the objectives would be clearly and differently defined for each department. So I would suggest that if you can have the vision and mission singular for the college or for the institution, whereas the goals and objectives would be different and let us say pluralized, maybe overlapping, because they would have to interact. So definitely the vision should be singular and the mission and objectives would be different for the departmental areas.
Yes, sir. I think I got clarity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Now with this, may I come in? With the permission of judges.
Dhoni.
Yes, sir.
Please, please, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
With the permission of the judges, I declare session 1 is over.
Just one moment, sir.
Yes.
Don't call us judges. We are still your peers and we may know less than what you know.
No.
Okay. Because when you start judging, then judgmental problems come in. So we don't want to start judges. We are just to listen to hear and give you some suggestions.
Definitely, sir. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
So with your permission, sir, I declare session 1 from team 1 is over. So thank you, team 1. You have started wonderfully. The vision, mission statements are set now. Now the time has come to translate that vision and mission and objectives in reality. It's a time to transform and translate that on ground. And who else but than teacher can do that work? And therefore, it is very appropriately aligned and planned by Piyush sir. The second session is very appropriately given to teachers' performance in the area of NAC. So I call upon team number 2, and they are going to discuss on measuring teachers' performance in the area of NAC. And let me introduce the speaker for this team 2. We have Professor R.D. Joshi. He was a principal of Yogeshwari Mahavidyalaya Ambejogai from Bid district, Maharashtra. It's a classic case that how one's career can lead to a gradual progression. I'm really happy, sir, to note that initially you were a member of IQAC of your college. Later on, you became the coordinator of our IQAC, and then later on, you become the principal of that college. So a good inspiration and a good example that how the progressive career development can take place. I welcome you, sir, for this presentation in the team. We also have Dr. Aparijita Mazumdar from Ramanujam College, Delhi. She is the assistant professor. Her core subject is political science, and she is also a member of IQAC of that college. And she is also serving many other college committees as well. And last but not the least, we have Dr. N. Sujata. She is the associate professor in the subject Sanskrit from Justice Bashir Ahmad Sayed College for Women, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. So it's a good combination again. I'm sure one from Delhi, one from Bid, and one from Chennai. We will get a very pan-India exposure and experience that how my team members see and look at the role of teachers to be played in achieving the earlier part, vision, mission, statement, etc., and their performance with reference to NAC. So welcome team, the stage is yours.
Thank you. May I please share my screen?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay, very good evening to everyone. And our team, team number 2, we will be discussing and talking to you about measuring teachers' performance in the areas of NAC. So our team has already been introduced. So as teacher, we have this immense potential to bring about change. And we can inspire our students to reach to any heights, and that in a sense kind of tells us what is the performance of a teacher and how the performance of the teacher can be mapped out. Now there was a time when the traditional role of the teacher was only very limited to having a very good subject matter knowledge and also as a knowledge transmitter. But the teacher no longer now is a sage on the stage that the students just look up to. But the teacher's role now has become multifaceted. The teacher is also a visionary, a leader, a role model, a facilitator, an adapter, a communicator, a mentor, collaborator, a risk taker. That's a lot. And therefore, what all these new roles of the teacher encompasses is basically a guide to take the students along and inspire them to reach many heights. So this huge role of the teacher in the contemporary times that we have seen, from curriculum development to planning to role model to facilitator, and all of this multifaceted role, in order to understand it and streamline it further for the purpose of performance, contribution, etc. So we have divided this into 4 broad roles of the teacher: the academics, which mainly pertains to curriculum and teaching learning; research, mainly related to innovation, patent, etc.; contribution to student progression and community development; and working within the organization, that is administration and governance. So looking into the role of the teacher in terms of contribution in these 4 roles and the performance. Now, if we take up the corresponding NAC criteria, this is mainly in order to understand the performance of the teacher and to measure their performance. So we have taken up corresponding criteria to each of these roles. That is, for academics, we have focused on criteria 1 and 2. For research, criteria 3. For student progression and community development, parts 2 key indicators, that is parts of criteria 3, majorly criteria 5, and 1 key indicator from criteria 7. And then finally, for administrative and governance work, we have focused on criteria 6 and 7. This is the basic layout of our presentation. So we will be focusing on each of these 4 roles one by one, and we will take up the NAC criteria corresponding to that role. Within that NAC criteria, we will look at each of the key indicators. And for each of the key indicators, we will try to see how a teacher, an individual teacher, can contribute and how that contribution can be measured, that performance can be measured by way of looking at their contribution. The major source of our presentation has been the updated NAC manual for both autonomous colleges and the affiliated colleges, and our own experiences of having taught for a long period of time. And we will try to bring in our experiences and try to see how a teacher can contribute to each of these key indicators and what can be the measurement tools. So my team member, Dr. Sujata, will be taking up the first two roles, that is academics and research, and will focus on criteria 1, 2, and 3 to give you a glimpse of teacher contribution and performance. I will be taking up the next two role of the teacher, that is student progression, community development, and governance and administration. And for that, I'll be focusing on some part of criteria 3 and 5, 6, and 7. Our team member, Dr. Joshi, will be finally giving us a summary and broad overview of what we have learned, and then we will be open for discussions. So I would request Dr. Sujata to take over.
Yeah, thank you, Aparajita. With due respects to the panel members and my pranams to my mentors, Professor Piyush Pahade and Dr. Badrunisa, all my dear friends in this journey of learning, and my dear participants. I would like to highlight the teacher's role in academics as found in the first two criteria of the NAC manual. The first one is with respect to the curricular aspects, and the second to teaching, learning, and evaluation. The first criterion, curricular aspects, it has 4 key indicators, and the first key indicator with respect to the autonomous institution is curriculum design and development. With respect to curriculum design and development, as a faculty member of an autonomous institution myself, the teacher has a pivotal role in designing the content, incorporating the needs of society, and identifying the outcomes. Every 3 years, we revise the syllabi. Lots of contemplation is required for syllabi revision. I would like to say, as an example of our own institution here, the teachers deliberated meetings after meetings, and we got into a new idea to organize workshops on curriculum development 6 to 8 months ahead of the next syllabi revision to understand the growing areas in program specific, inviting resources from corporate industry, research center, skill development sector, and senior faculty of other colleges to get acquainted with the training development and then incorporate into the syllabi before the board of studies. With reference to the curriculum planning and implementation, which is the first key indicator of the affiliated institution, I'm greatly indebted to our mentors, Professor Piyush Pahade and Dr. Badrunisa, for enlightening.
Voice is breaking.
Yes, voice is.
Could you please check your headphones?
Aparajita, could you please take some
sir.
time?
Yeah, I'm using the headphones, sir. I'm using.
You better remove the headphone and talk on the computer mic. That will be better. Just try for. Just try for.
No,
that.
sir. That is too feeble.
Acha. Sometimes that works.
No, sir. We made a trial in the morning. It was too bad.
Okay,
No, sir. It was too bad in the morning. Yeah, I'm greatly indebted to our mentors. Is this all right?
No.
No. Okay. 1 minute, sir. Am I audible now?
I think it's better.
No.
I request the team to take over so that
Actually, ma'am wanted to share some experiences regarding each of these criteria.
can
So,
we take a little later? That's okay. Once it becomes stable, we can go ahead.
So is this all right now?
सुजाता मैडम
yes,
आपके दो
now it is
इंस्ट्रूमेंट
better.
या
हाँ,
now
now
it's
it is
better
better.
आपके दो इंस्ट्रूमेंट चालू थे क्या
Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how about now, sir?
Now it's okay.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So this is, with regard to the curriculum planning and implementation. In fact, it is only after taking up this course on with Dr. Pehre sir and Dr. Badruni sir, we come to understand how there is a scientific methodology required in the planning of academic calendar and the levels that are involved and the contribution of the faculty in the planning before the execution. See, all that it is something, which a teacher will have to do it meticulously. And we would say as a measurement for all this to a teacher's contribution, it would be the minutes of the Board of Studies, the minutes of the academic council, the academic calendar, lesson plan, the teacher's diary, internal assessment, and so on would be the teacher's performance measurement tool to measure her contribution to these curriculum design and development and curriculum planning and implementation. The next key indicator is academic flexibility. Academic flexibility with regard to the autonomous institution, we can bring in new innovative programs under the self-financed stream. Teachers will have to identify new programs, the prosperity, its demand among the students, and suggest the same to the management and work it out. I would say, for example, some colleges in the city have introduced BCom in actuarial science, BSc in data science, BSc in media science, all this which are in great demand, but it is the duty of a teacher to find out and then write a proposal to the management and bring it across to the college. In addition to this, academic flexibility also allows vertical flexibility and horizontal flexibility in the course itself. I would offer my college as an example. For the vertical flexibility, the Department of Commerce offers 4 electives for the students to have a vertical flexibility. Also with the Department of Zoology, where they offer occasional biotechnology as an allied, which is an optional one. But with respect to all institutions, irrespective of whether they are autonomous institution or affiliated institutions, they have a role to offer courses or flexible courses in value added and add-on courses. But again, it is the role of the teacher to find out what are the value addition that they would be offering or would be giving to the students, and then they would be offering the same through their course, through their program. And there is a flexibility for students to take whichever one they wanted. And going to the curriculum enrichment, the next key indicator. Curriculum enrichment is a strategy to bridge the achievement gap of the students. The teacher will have to find the ways and means to bridge the gap. And how could they do that? It is either by having an occasional training or augmenting the disciplinary knowledge, or by integrating skill enhancement and entrepreneurship course, or incorporating scientific and technological development. So these are all the options that can be given to the students to enrich their curriculum.
And to quote examples for vocational training, as I am in a women's institution, we are offering bakery courses, RE and embroidery, tailoring, jewelry making, all this as occasional courses. And to quote example for augmenting disciplinary knowledge, big data application in finance and social science, e-commerce, entertainment management, virtual marketing, and business idea generation. These are offered in some of the colleges to augment the disciplinary knowledge. With reference to integrating skill enhancement and entrepreneurship courses, sometimes we go in consonance with the NSDC, that is the National Skill Development Council, and we choose the courses to offer the skill development, that is the skill enhancement with entrepreneurship courses. Then incorporating scientific and technological development. This is one way where we can enrich the curriculum. And I would quote, in our own college, we have offered 3D printing, digital marketing, artificial intelligence as courses that have improved the scientific and technological developments was able to be given to them by offering such courses. So with regard to all this, I would say teacher's role is so great because she has to identify the niche area, making themselves competent, and then offer the same to the students. Otherwise, they may have to outsource. So these are the things that I wanted to say about the curriculum enrichment. The next key indicator is feedback of the first criterion. How can the teacher contribute to the feedback? Teachers can contribute pointers to understand the satisfaction or otherwise of the stakeholders. Of course, the result is based on our performance. Stakeholders' inputs are to be understood in a right perspective and has to be incorporated into the syllabi with the approval of the Board of Studies. This is possible only with respect to autonomous institution where the stakeholders' inputs are analyzed and it is taken into the next revision. It is considered for the next Board of Studies in the revision. One thing about this, we have to earmark our gray areas from the feedback and improve ourselves effectively, because this is the area where that shows the accountability and the effectiveness of the teacher is known only from the feedback, and the teacher may have to take it up sportively and she will have to improve accordingly. Now, the measurement of teachers' performance in all the above key indicators. So I have just given the number of measurement tools. These are the tools by which we can measure the teacher's performance in the above said, both in the flexibility and the curriculum enrichment and in the feedback. These are the measuring tools, I would say. The minutes of the meeting at various levels, the Board of Studies meeting, the academic council, the field trip report, and all these with the feedback sample which is put to analysis and the action taken report. So these are the performance tools for the curriculum aspects. Now, I would say that we have just made a graph to find out what is the expected contribution by a teacher to this criterion. It is amazing to find that out of 150 marks that are allotted to the autonomous institution, 120 is expected to be contributed by a teacher. So also in the affiliated colleges, out of 100 marks, 90%, that is 90 marks is expected to be contributed by a teacher. So the contribution of the teacher towards the curriculum is so high, and we may have to realize and work for the same. The next criterion is teaching, learning, and evaluation. So we see the steps, the 7 steps that are there for a teacher to play a role in this teaching, learning and evaluation. The 7 key indicators from enrollment right up to the satisfaction. It is a ladder. Anyway, teachers are always described as ladders and stepping on which the student goes up to reach his goal. But now the scenario is totally changed because they have to be satisfied with their learning experience. Now, student enrollment and profile. The role of the teacher is to create, with regards to this enrollment of the teacher, it is the teacher's role to create a brand value for the institution. And this is possible only by a collaborative effort of all the teachers to create an impact inside and outside the institution. I'm not telling everything, but I would like to, it would be a classroom management technique, or it could be outside, something she will be doing outside. All that would create an impact and a brand value of the institution, which is a mark for a teacher to have a student to have an enrollment into the institution. I would quote an example of a city college. I'm not mentioning the name. It is a city college in Chennai. It's a very popular college. After a murder of an IT employer at a suburban station, as it was just behind the college, they installed CCTV cameras for the overseeing of the safety of their own students, because 70% of the students use that suburb station. In due course of time, they adopted the cleanliness of the the cleanliness of the station. In fact, they adopted the station, creating a brand value for the college. Imagine the number of commuters pass that station every day, and they see the name there written, and they created a brand value for their institution. This is actually, it's an idea which generated from one of the teachers, which materialized with the help of an alumni of the institution. This impact a teacher can create to improve the enrollment of her or his institution. The next one, teacher's performance. Okay, here with respect to this, the measuring tools for the students' enrollment and profile, it would be the feedback on the activities, LMS, because it could be even whatever she's doing or he is doing inside the class, the kind of the activities and the kind of the class that they are involved in. So LMS could be one of the tool that can be used to measure the teacher, the mentor-mentee record, and the response of the community service. That is also one of the tool that can be used. And so these are the tools that will help to measure the teacher with respect to students' enrollment. The next one, catering to students' diversity. So first thing is to identify the diversity, understand, and then respect the diversity. How could that happen? Actually speaking, teachers will have to use a trial and error method to identify low, mediocre, and high-level students. In fact, I can quote our own college, where the IQAC tried with a common entry-level test for 30 marks, questions constituting of logical reasoning, communication ability, and aptitude. We were able to identify the slow learners, confirm the same with the subject teachers, and arrange for workshops on memory techniques. We also arranged motivational talks with alumni who were with a similar ability and who evolved after undergoing some process in the institution. This worked tremendously well. In the city of Chennai, I would say, after identifying the level of the students, they are offering 2 levels of English depending on the student ability. Sometimes the colleges also offer 3 levels of courses. That is also happening. Apart from the general, how we take care of the slow learners and the advanced learners. The next slide, please. See the slow learners and the advanced learners. We do have some measures to take care of them. But apart from that, I would say it is the responsibility of the teacher to find out the individual capacity of the student and help him or her out in an effective manner. So to quote an example for the advanced learners, one of our teacher who's associated with the US consulate, she was able to, by her constant going to the place, she was able to find out that there is an opportunity for a student to go as an ambassador to talk on, to have an interfaith dialogue. So we could send one of our students to, as a representative of India, to US universities. And this was possible only because of our teachers who are having constant contact with all their, communities. So with whomever they have a contact, they should have dialogues to find out what is happening and how they are improving in their own place and what is the possibility for our students to have an entry. So follow-up measures for the slow learners and the advanced learners. We know that there are remedial classes and the mentor-mentee records, special programs for advanced learners. I'm not just calling out everything, but we know what is the usual method. So, and I would say the measuring tool for this to test the teacher, it would be the entry-level test model. That is one of the testing tool. And then the internal assessment mark, and then end semester marks to find out how she has improved through the months. The next one is teaching learning process. So this is the next key indicator. With respect to teaching learning process, we know that there are three methods of teaching that has been, I think it's not very clear. Okay. So there are three methods of teaching process that has been asked by the NAC. That is the experiential method, the participative method, and the problem solving method. I think there is some problem with the presentation. Yeah.
Have it. Yeah, you have it now.
Yeah. Yes. So this is these are the three methods, and how a teacher can take these methods of teaching learning is shown there in the slide. I wish to say that a teacher should be a knowledge container, a journey guide, and master her discipline. Different learning methods can be analyzed through her classroom situation. So depending on her classroom situation, she can analyze what is the method she has to use. From her professional communities also, what the others are doing, not only in her own institution, in the institution outside, and from the personal research. So these are the three ways how a teacher can find out what methodology can be utilized in this teaching learning process. So the measuring tool are LMS, students activity record, the email, the certificate from the industry, because they are involved in going for internship, for on-the-job training. So all these are the measures that are there. So for all of this, they'll have to have a record of an email or a certificate from an industry, and for certain programs it should be an invitation, brochures, etc. So these could be the measuring tool to find out how much a teacher has involved or she has put herself to do the teaching learning process. The next one is the teacher profile and quality. So the question may arise, why should a teacher improve the quality by advanced research? I'm already a doctorate. What is the need for me to do an advanced research? The first reason is she can bring her observations of the research to the classroom for better understanding of the concepts. The second reason, the teachers are the role models for the students to gain interest to pursue higher education or pursue research. So these I would say as the main reason why a teacher will have to go on for further research or apply in the universities abroad, and she has to improve herself. Only then she will be updated with knowledge. And the performance, the teacher's performance measurement can be found from the award certificate, the certificate itself or award letter, or it could be the registration details because she should be in the process of doing her research, or maybe even the registration might not have been fulfilled. So at least a payment receipt. So these would be the tool to measure if the teacher is moving forward to improve her profile. The next key indicator, evaluation process and reforms. So what is it that a teacher will have to do on this? Well ahead, scheduling has to be made for both the internal and the end semester examination. And another thing a teacher can do is to try out novel methods of exams. That is possible with respect to internal examination. And she can offer valuable suggestions for strict conduct and valuation of examination. But one thing I could say for all that is here, a teacher will have to imbibe these. What are they? Judicious evaluation, no favoritism, and a transparent valuation, for which I would suggest to have a scheme of valuation. Examination policy is to be framed in such a way to take care of all these issues. The measurement tool for a teacher in the conduct of examination and evaluation would be academic calendar, examination policy, the minutes of the exam committee meeting, then the communication to stakeholders. It is because if the institution is following an outcome-based education, the stakeholders have to be communicated that the student are given an outcome-based education. So communication needs to be told to all the stakeholders, and minutes of the departmental meeting, the question bank, the model question paper, the evaluation strategies and the rubrics frame, all this, and also the most important, if there are any grievances recorded and whether it is redressed, and the record of the report of malpractice, all these will be the measuring tool of a teacher towards evaluation process and reforms. The next one is student performance and learning outcomes. Student performance reflects teacher's performance. So we have to orient the students on internal examination, external examination, model. What is the model of the examination? Rubrics have to be created to assess the attainment of the competency levels correlating with performance indicator. Teachers will have to appraise the students and the stakeholders about the outcome-based education model right from the induction program. So these are the most important aspect for a teacher in student performance and learning outcomes, and the performance measurement tools are report of the induction program, examination committee meeting minutes, and the LMS if she has used, the website which will be where the outcomes will be put across. So these would form as a measurement tool for a teacher's contribution towards students' performance and learning outcomes. Last but not the least, towards teaching, learning, and evaluation is the student satisfaction survey. Students are the audience for a teacher. Unless and until they are satisfied, our show is in this theater of classroom will be a utter flop. Let us improve our art and mechanism and pave a way for the next generation to have a golden future. Measuring tools are, so we know that the student satisfaction survey, a periodic survey will have to be conducted, and how a teacher can be, the performance can be measured is by the model of the feedback, a report on the analysis and what is the action taken, the report of the action taken. These would stand as a tool for measuring the teacher's performance, because it is that satisfaction which is actually going to reflect the performance of the teacher. So these are, I would say, are the contribution of the teachers with respect to academics, and a graph for the teaching, learning, and evaluation clearly shows the contribution expected from the teacher. It is 68% for an autonomous institution. The contribution would be 68% out of 300 marks. She would be contributing more than half, almost 3/4 she would be contributing. With respect to the affiliated colleges also, it is not much a difference. It is 68% and this is 71.4%. This is the expected contribution by the teacher according to the NAAC metric, would be the contribution of a teacher towards teaching, learning, and evaluation. So the next one is with regard to research, innovation, and extension, of which the extension would be taken up by Aparajita. So I would be covering the research, innovation, and consultancy. The first key indicator towards research is promotion of research and facilities. So this is available only for the autonomous institution, because the teachers, they can ask for some facilities in the college and they would be provided by the management. So teachers will have to indulge in research in their discipline specific. So teachers, research enhances the teacher's methodology of teaching, because we saw that how research would be enhancing her teaching methodology. And the doctorate teachers are expected to apply for guideship. This on one side, the teacher will have to motivate advanced level students to incline, who are inclined on research, to take up research project. So what are they to do? They will have to sensitize them on some kind of funding that is available in the college. I would give an example of our own institution where we sensitize them on research. As soon as they enter the institution in the first year, we organize a competition called as Idea Factory for the first year. This is just to create an awareness on research. In the second year, proposals are taken, research proposals are taken from the students in their own level, and for which a prosperous proposal is offered seed money, which a student is expected to complete by the end of the 5th semester, so that, before she leaves, she would be completing the research project. So this is what we do in our institution. So teachers will have to keenly follow the announcement, that is with respect to the provision that are available outside, that is proposal for research project to various other funding. The teachers will have to keenly wait for announcement for the call for the proposal, and also share with her friends, because as Dr. Pehde sir said, we fail to share with our friends everything we want for ourselves. But let us, if I fail to get the research project, at least my friend would. So that should be my motive. So let us share the announcement as soon as we see to others. And teachers' performance measurement tools are with respect to promotion of research would be the research project the submission of the research project proposal, the application details, the minutes of the research committee meeting, and the guideship letter, the seat, the money allocated to the students as well as to the faculty members. Most important of all is the policy copy, the research policy copy, which is the most important one an institution will have to have before a teacher would endeavor into a research. It is a research policy which has to be a most important one. And then applying for funds in government and non-government research centers, filing patent, and then applying for research projects. That is one thing. The sponsorship letter that she has had from any other universities or research funding centers, and collaboration with foreign universities for the purpose of research. So these are all would serve as a measuring tool with respect to the teacher's performance in this key indicator. The next one, innovation ecosystem. Resource mobilization for research. That is what we went on now. That is applying for funds in research centers and filing of patent, and also it is not just they do their research, but also motivating other faculty to take up funding research, and also finding out the collaborations, whichever is possible for them to have a research collaboration with either national or international universities, and also other funding agencies, government and non-government agencies, and also recommending the management to allot some incentive for completing their PhD. Because in the case of the management paid faculty members, a recommendation can be made to allocate some incentive on the completion of PhD. So these are the ways where how resource mobilization for research can take place. And the measuring tool would be the budget copy, government sanction copy, the patent application evidence, the patent copy itself, because sometimes she might not have received the patent copy, at least an application which she had given would serve as an evidence. Award letter for research sponsorship. All this would serve as a measuring tool with respect to the funding. Then innovation ecosystem. Establishing innovation incubation center to address the challenge of our nation. So this we have done in our own institution. Students generate ideas which could turn into a business model. Teachers' role is to guide and motivate the students to pursue the undertaking till the desired result is achieved. It would be developed it could be even a development of a software to suit the functioning of our own website or in our own institution. That could help the student, to begin her innovation right inside the institution, for which the teachers will have to encourage until they reach their goal. So it is a sustained motivation that a teacher will have to give for a student. The performance measurement tool regarding innovation incubation ecosystem, that is analysis of the outcome of the innovation incubated, then record for entrepreneur, then workshop as of research committee. So these would serve as a measuring tool. Then it is research publication and award. The first and the foremost of a teacher is to suggest a right plagiarism software. Then identifying appropriate national and international journal for publication. Then writing chapters and books. Recommending to the management award for good research publication. Exemplary performance to attract the award of other agencies. So these would be the contribution of a teacher towards research publication and awards. The publication, one thing, she will have to be constantly finding out which are the publication portal where she could do the publication, the journal, and the awards also, because the awards, it is not just like that given, it is only for an exemplary performance which would attract the award from other agencies. Of course, the institution can offer awards, but that would be within the institution. If it is an exemplary performance, it would go beyond that, and she would be spoken of outside also. And the measuring tools for this would be the software purchase, that is the plagiarism software purchase, books and chapters published, and the awards received. The next key indicator is consultancy services. Now, the most important for a consultancy also, it is the framing of a consultancy policy. It is a need-based, first thing for a consultancy, a need-based survey is to be made in the areas of expertise of the faculty. Available, faculty who are eligible for a consultancy. Sometimes it is space bound and sometimes it is time bound. We have to explore the areas for consultancy in consonance with the expertise of the faculty and extend consultancy services. For example, in our college, the Department of Home Science, it offers consultancy on diet plan and psychology on learning difficulties and coping personal problem. And I'm very happy to say that having a tie-up with the NGO, the psychology department and our counselor was were offering telephonic counseling that was offered. This was without revenue. Service because of the expertise of the teacher who are available in the institution. The next one, the teacher's performance tool for this would be the consultancy policy itself and the revenue, the accounts of the revenue that is generated from the consultancy. The next one is the collaboration. So extension activities.
Yes, so the next role of the teacher that we would be focusing on is a social responsibility and community
limited
development.
time, please.
Yes, sir.
Take care of the time.
So two criterias from two key indicators from criteria 3 describes social responsibility and community development, the contribution of the teacher. The teacher can carry out a huge amount of extension activities starting from social service programs to attending programs herself, doing a lot of governmental activities, etc. And here I would like to cite one or two examples from our college. Apart from the NSS activities, we have established outreach committee for our college, and under that outreach college, we have adopted a few slums, and there we go, and on a regular basis, the teacher and the students, they go, they interact with the people there, they teach the children there, and this has kind of grown into a long-term bond. So there are a lot of such minute extension activities that the teacher can contribute in this. And the teacher's performance in this key indicator can be analyzed through survey reports, through action taken report, financial accounts, report of the extension activities, etc. The teacher can also collaborate on a lot of issues and can sign MOUs, can collaborate with NGOs, and even in our college, we have collaborated with other universities for exchange program students. And in this, the teacher plays a key role in identifying where this collaboration can be made, with which agency in a particular department, where the field trips can be done for a particular department, internships can be done. So the teacher plays a key role in this. And we can we can measure the performance of the teacher by looking at the copies of the collaboration, the copy of MOUs, outcome of the programs, feedback, etc. So when we look at the criteria 3 graph, we see again that the teacher has a huge amount of contribution to make. In fact, in an affiliated college, a teacher can contribute almost 100% of marks under criteria 3 if an individual teacher is motivated enough to take up these issues and contribute to that. The next criteria is criteria 5, which directly links to the next role of the teacher, that is a student progression. And how the student progresses, it itself speaks out the performance of the teacher. So the teacher can provide a wide range of student support facilities like guidance cell, placement cell, welfare measures, etc. The teacher can provide value-added courses. The teacher can identify students and recommend them for freeships, grantships, etc. And most of this can be done at an individual level on one-to-one basis between the teacher and the student. And again, here also the teacher plays a key role because the teacher is in constant touch with the students and can provide them adequate guidance, etc., and support them and then help them to progress ahead. Students' participation and activities. So even here, the teacher plays an important role in student progression. The teacher identifies and can differentiate, because since the teacher is in touch with the student in the classroom on an everyday basis, so the teacher can identify the slow learners, can plan out and implement remedial measures for them. They can also, evolve certain good practices that can effectively support the students' progression. The teacher can counsel and make the students ready for competitive examinations, gainful employment, and even the next level of education. In student participation and activities, the teacher can not only organize such activities and make the student part of them, but they can also promote the students to participate in social and cultural activities in other colleges, in other universities, by giving them information, etc. Even here in our college, we organize a wide variety of activities so that we give the student the opportunity and the scope to participate in a variety of programs and learn from these programs, which will eventually go on to foster their holistic development. And finally, the alumni engagement. Now, this is a very, very interesting aspect, and most of the teacher actually fail to understand the importance of an alumni engagement, and how this can contribute to the growth of the institution. Now, the teacher maintains a very good contact with the outgoing students. Then the students always come back to their teacher, talks to their teacher, tells them what they are doing, and the teacher actually plays a very pivotal role in keeping this contact alive and contributing to the larger alumni institution in the college. And this alumni institution can then be harnessed for student support, resource mobilization, etc. So the teacher here is the central player, the protagonist who can maintain this constant linkage with the outgoing students and harness this further for the institution. Now, there are a wide range of measuring tools. to see how the teacher has performed in these above criteria, including minutes of the meetings, reports of the activities conducted. There are certain qualitative criteria as well, like how the teacher has been able to impact, influence the students, how the teacher has been able to inculcate a value system within the students. And then, of course, the quantitative criteria like number of programs organized, number of field trips, number of courses offered, etc. And then we also have the student progression report, where they have gone, how well they have done. So this actually speaks about the teacher's performance. So if you look at the overall graph of this criteria 5, again, the teacher's contribution to student support and progression is almost 90%, 94% in case of autonomous colleges, and 87% in case of affiliated colleges. So again, if the teacher individually takes up this role very seriously, then it will eventually go on to support the institution at large. The next role of the teacher is governance and management, and this can be mapped out in the corresponding NAC criteria, that is criteria 6. Now, often an individual teacher feels that she has no role in these three aspects. You know, governance, management, leadership. This has to be taken up by the institution at large. So, what can an individual teacher do to contribute? Well, the teacher can provide institutional vision and leadership by setting values, streamlining goals. The teacher individually can be enthusiastic enough to participate in a lot of formal, informal arrangements that goes on into making policies, etc., for the academic and administrative planning. The teacher can also contribute into strategy development and deployment. They can contribute in the formulation of academic and administrative policies, procedures, strategies, etc. But not only in terms of contribution, but even abiding by this policy itself is a huge contribution. So it's not always that the teacher has to go and make a policy, but once the policy is made, abiding by this policy and respecting that policy, and then working towards aligning that policy to the larger vision and mission of the institution itself also is a contribution. And then there are faculty empowerment strategies. You know, the teacher has to upgrade herself in terms of her professional capacity, the developments in her field, etc. And the teacher can empower herself by way of feedback. And this is a very, very key aspect. Now, for example, in our college, we have developed a very systematic way of getting feedback from the students. So before they take up their admit cards, they have to fill the feedback for a particular semester. And then that feedback is systematically analyzed to see and understand how the teacher has performed, how the students have gained from that teacher. And then the teacher can use that feedback analysis to further improve and further plan strategies in the next semester. Again, financial and resource mobilization. Usually an individual teacher feels that she might not be contributing that much, but a teacher can bring in certain amount of financial resources as well. Following the established procedures for utilizing financial resources and ensuring transparency in that procedure itself is also a very important contribution in this criteria. And finally, internal quality assurance system. Most institutions, academic institutions now has the IQAC. So participation and participating in that IQAC process, you know, helping in keeping documentation of the activities conducted, and then participating in academic and administrative auditing. These could be the teacher's contribution in this key criteria. Again, we can measure these performance of the teacher by looking at minutes of the meetings. We can look into the minutes of the meetings with the students, especially mentor-mentee minutes. We can look at the FDPs that has been organized and participated, workshops, seminars that has been organized by the teacher and participated. And then we can also look at the feedback analysis, action taken report, etc. So if we again look at the graph of this criteria 6, The contribution of the teacher is about 70 to 80% in autonomous colleges and affiliated colleges. And again, this might help the institution get a better ranking if the teacher is taking this up seriously. And the final criteria, that is criteria 7, in this, the first indicator relates to the role of the teacher in terms of social responsibility, and the next two criteria relates to the role of the teacher in terms of governance and management. Now, the teacher again can help in facilitating disabled students, differently abled students, and how the teacher caters to their differential needs in the classroom setup or at large. Again, this becomes important. The teacher can exhibit concerns about social responsibilities, etc., by organizing programs on gendered equity, climate change, environmental issues, etc. And even in our college, in Ramanujan College, we have various committees. We have the Women Development Cell, we have the Tattva, that is the environmental committee, environmental society. They regularly organize such programs under the mentorship of teachers to facilitate the understanding of these issues. Best practices, again, a teacher can play a very important role in evolving certain best practices, which can then go on to become the institutional distinctiveness as well. Again, I would like to cite two examples from Ramanujan College. Our college is a very eco-friendly campus. It's one of the best practices, and the contribution of the teachers from the environmental studies department has been very huge in this. So what they do in their discipline, they have tried to implement that in bringing about eco-friendly college, eco-friendly campus in our college. And again, another interesting best practice of our college is the Center for Ethics and Values. This also has been the initiative of an teacher, and on his initiative, he has even gone on to open a school of happiness. And these have given an institutional distinctiveness for our institution, and they had not only promote values, ethics, etc., but has also evolved as a best practice which can be emulated by other institutions. Similarly, the Teaching Learning Center, the contribution of the teachers in conducting activities under it, we have got it under the MHRD scheme, and even that has become one of our institutional distinctiveness. Again, we can measure the performance of the teacher on this by looking at the reports, the strategies that has been devised, the distinctive contribution, any best practices evolved, etc. Now, the beneficiaries of this whole activity, the activity of the teachers, the contribution and mapping the performance of the teacher, is all of them, the student themselves, the teacher themselves, the institution at large, and even at the broad level, the society. Now, before we go on to the final summary, I would just like to point out one limitation of measuring this performance. Now, most of this performance can be measured in terms of documents, in terms of files, in terms of reports, etc., etc. However, we also need to look at the qualitative measurement. Quantitative measurement is one aspect, but looking at the qualitative measurement of the teacher's contribution and performance is also very important, and that can come with constant engagement, etc. Now, I request my team member, Dr. Joshi, to finally provide a summary and then open for discussion.
Thank you, Aparajita ma'am. I'm going to summarize the whole process in not more than 5 to 7 minutes. Now, a teacher has to play a huge role in the development of society, in the development of organization, and in all the development of all the domains. Now, we have seen that the teacher played a very important role in academics, research, progression on community development, and working with organization with criteria number 1, criteria 2, criteria 3, criteria 6 and 7. But I think the criteria 4 remain untouched. And how a teacher can play an important role in the development of infrastructure. So we have some thoughts about it. The infrastructure development is possible through research grant. whatever research grant which a teacher gets in crores, so there is a provision of some money for development of infrastructure, maybe a laboratory, maybe a part of laboratory, or maybe equipment. Then a teacher contribution for infrastructure development by donation of equipment or donation for a classroom or anything like that. And motivating the students, the current students, as well as motivating the alumni for donation to develop infrastructure for the students. I will quote one example. My college building is around 10 crores. The new college building is worth rupees 10 crores, and it was built up only through the donations of the students. So the infrastructure development is possible directly or indirectly from a teacher. Now, as we have seen the whole presentation, the journey of a teacher starts from a mere teacher of the subject, and it gets broader, it gets more horizon by entering as a teacher, as an expert teacher in academics, then to research. He becomes a scientist and he progresses his students to become a scientist. So from academics, the progression is to research. Then from research, a teacher can lead to the community development. That is inculcation of societal awareness in students, and through various programs, we can build up the character of the student and himself or herself. And from community development, the teacher can play an important role in organizational development, such as administration and governance. From my personal example, I work as a NAC coordinator, I work as a NAC member, IQAC coordinator, then vice principal and principal. So the journey of a teacher can be from academics to research to be a scientist, then community development as a societal responsibility, and organizational development. He can play an important role in administration and governance also. So it is said that a teacher can influence eternity. No one can tell where the influence of teacher stops. It is an eternal type of experience. To teach is to touch life. It is also a quote which is given with respect to the teaching. To teach is to touch the life. So in the context of 21st century, my friends, it is a need of the hour. It is a need of the hour to teaching, touching this horizon to an HR person. Say a teacher should have role as a HR person. The quote which is said, HRD and HRM, human resource development and human resource management through total quality development and total quality management of students, teacher, all stakeholders and the organization and the society. So there is a ravishing role of teacher in which we want to play in future to inculcate the global management principles. Now, the corporate companies are working with global management principles. Now, I am studying since last 10 years how the global management principles can be applicable in the academic or teaching field. There are so many global management proved principles such as Ikigai, Kaizen, which are Japanese principles, then 5S principles, 6 Sigma principles, and 14 management principles by Toyota Way. The Ikigai tells us about life. The Kaizen tells about our career. The 5S principles takes about the quality and quantity of work. And 6 Sigma principles take about the quality and quantity of career and overall development. So friends, a teacher is going to play a great role in future, and lots of responsibility is on our shoulders to create awareness and to create a good society, good nation. So with this, I conclude the session as a summary, and I keep the session open for discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes,
Yes,
just
sir.
I want to just take only one question because I personally felt though the time is little extended, but I think there are a large crowd which must be interested to know the real answer to this question, because it's a very relevant question. How does a small institute that has only 5 or 6 faculty members implement all this? And there are such many institutions, and therefore I think that we need to answer this question.
Yeah, Joshi sir, Sujata ma'am, anybody wants to take this up?
Yeah, yes. A beginning has to be made. Yes, sir. beginning has to be made wherever it is possible for the teacher to put herself. Those roles can be started off, kick-started off, and then as the institution improves, I think the other activities, the other role of a teacher will play its role or will play its part, and the institution will grow slowly and slowly, because most of the institution would have started like that only. Because I know in our own city, an institution which is started 10 years ago is the most popular one. It is all the strategy that the management and the heading institution heads have strategized with the limited number of teachers that has helped the institution to move forward every year slowly. And now that they are the leading institution, we are envious about it. In spite of being a 60-year-old institution, we are not able to reach that, that height as this institution, which is just 10-year-old, could reach. Because it all depends on the strategy that has been adopted to move forward.
Yes, Sujata ji, that's really a good answer, but there's something more to add.
Yeah, I would like
What
to
is
add
the other
something,
option
sir.
that you have?
Sir, I would like to add something.
Yeah.
Soni sir, is it a single faculty college or multi-faculty college?
No, that question, naturally, when there are only 5-6 people, probably it is a single faculty college. The question, the person who has asked the question has not defined that.
There is one thing, Sumanth ji, that I wish to add. What is the other option?
Yes, sir.
There is
What
no
is the
option.
other
So your question is the answer.
Yeah, your question is the answer.
Yes, your question is the answer. I think there is no option, so we have to start somewhere and we have to continue. I believe that is a very fantastic way to answer.
No, there is one other answer which is
visit
possible
other
to
colleges.
for the teachers. The Joshi sir, I think this question, which we are talking about, very few teachers and one faculty or a single faculty or self-finance or whatever. I think the institution first needs to define its 100%.
Right.
Even in a multi-faculty college, big department, small departments, I'll just give you one example. If you have the arts faculty and you have department of philosophy, then this department of philosophy does not have technically practicals, or they just have theory, and usually they have only one teacher. So when we are looking at the 100% of the department of philosophy, then it will never match with the 100% of, let us say, a physics or a biology or a biochemistry or a microbiology department, which is larger. So in retrospective, if you are looking at a smaller college with fewer staff members, then I think what Dr. Pahade sir used to say, that what are our benchmarks first, right? So if we have very small benchmarks, then what Dr. Mazumdar also said just some time back, or Dr. Sujata also said that there is a college in Chennai which grew after 10 years. So they must have definitely had their own benchmark, which over the years they attained. And after a period of time, then only was the college really good at what they are. So even like she said, that is a 10-year college. So whatever efforts they have put in are for 10 years, and then the results are seen. And what you said, Dr. Joshi, is the building. That building may not have come up in 1 year. It must have taken a lot of small steps to get that 10 crore rupees. Right? So we are looking at a small department, few staff, and those few staff will work strategically over 10 years to make a good college. So it is not a 1-year job. The other question which I wanted to ask really is, when we are talking to many teachers, I think most of us are teachers here, and we are into core teaching and learning. I would like to answer, and this should be answered by the research persons also, that what is the tangible incentive for a teacher to do all this, comparing the self versus institution benefit? Can the speakers try to answer this?
Yes, sir.
What is the tangible incentive for any teacher or a group of teachers to do all that you have said in the context of self versus institution?
Yes, sir. I would answer this question, Sujata. See, pride that you are working in such an institution itself is an incentive, sir. It's an incentive when you say that you work for this institution with this as your I mean your
I know what you want to say. You want to say that you're working
NAC
under a fantastic brand value.
accreditation or your NIR rank, that itself would incentive is going to work towards the goal of the
So do you want
institution.
to really sum it up as that you're working under a brand? Like if you're taking the IT or anything, that I'm working for Microsoft itself is a big thing. Is that what you want to say? That working for a brand.
If I may come in, if you allow me, please. So if I want to address the first question, now our college used to be an evening college, Ramanujan College, and from an evening college, and it's a very new college. It's almost just 10 years old, and from an evening college now we have evolved into a full-fledged day college, and we have actually addressed all these criteria that has been mentioned in NAC, and in the first cycle we have managed to get A as well. So it is not a matter of how big and small the institution is. From a evening college, if we could have done this, I'm sure a small institution can take baby steps and eventually go into this. The second question about motivation. Now, a lot of these things that we have mentioned is self-motivated, but a large amount of this also goes on to add to the CV of the teacher themselves. So if the teacher is lazy, relaxed, and is just comfortable in what she is doing and doesn't want to build her own, forget about the institution, is not even interested in personal growth, then there is hardly anything that can motivate a teacher. But if the teacher is at least interested in more, her own self growth, then a lot of this criteria will be met by way of that, and then will eventually go on to benefiting the institutions as well. From the perspective of the institution, that can also motivate a teacher in various ways by recognizing their efforts, by recognizing or giving them certain awards for good research that they have done. In fact, giving opportunities for teacher to perform itself is a big motivation. Sometimes, not including teachers in committees for decision makings, etc., that demotivates, and they say, bhai, ki the decision is taken by upper hand, what do we do? But if you involve teachers, that motivates them to perform. So maybe involving them, appreciating their work, even if it is a little bit of work, and then recognizing them, giving them more opportunities, I think that will motivate a teacher. I don't know, sir, if I've been able to.
No,
Yes,
it's
it's a
clear.
good-
It's absolutely.
it's
Now,
a
why
good
I ask
answer.
this question is many teachers, when we go around for NAC and advisement of NAC, they said, in Marathi we say, आम्हाला काय फायदा आहे? NAC ची grade आली, NAC चं हे आलं, तर ते it comes to the college. So what is the benefit to us?
So that I say I'm working in a NAC A accredited college.
That is what I'm trying to say, that the brand value under which you are working is a big thing.
Yes.
Is a big thing. And what you again said is also very true, that the management criterion 6 should take into consideration that what are the incentives, because in NAC assessment or the framework, they have only talked about memberships to professional bodies, then they have talked about giving money for attending conferences, etc. So it seems that it is only like monetary incentive. But besides the monetary incentive, what is the college governance doing to incentivize their effort? So that is what I wanted to get at. That is why I asked this question.
So may I come in now?
Yes, please.
Sir, may I add one point? May I add one point, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Just
Yes,
one.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. See, as I've been with this institute for 28 years. And so when I wanted to do research, I was given facilities to do PhD. I was given study leave to do postdoctoral fellowship. And when I came back, because I have part administration work also, I was given a JRF to do research for me. So the institution encouraged all these for my development, actually. Of course, they got me to be the deputy director for the PhD program. But yes, because they encouraged me with all this, it was possible for me to do that. Okay. So with the JRFs that I got, I have managed to get 2 patent applications, and I have about 36 publications in Scopus Index journals. So all this adds to my CV. Our institute is accredited, no doubt, but it really added to my CV. So I think the encouragement given by the institution should be made good use of. And that will add to the CV of the teacher. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. So from the conclusion, it's very clear that the responsibility on teacher is very, very heavy, elaborated, and covering the 360-degree perspective of the institution. No wonder the session stretched little bit, because the team took every efforts to bring all those angles of the 360 perspective where the teacher's involvement is important. So with this note, may I request Elizabeth Madam to take over.
Sir, can we take help of contributed teachers, even though single faculty, 5 to 6 colleges, but we can have like a temporary teachers, and we can take help of those teachers.
Hello, who was talking? Please, can you repeat that, please?
So, Suman sir, I am Rohankar.
Okay, yeah.
We can take help of the contributed teachers.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that may be another answer. Another 5 to 10 teachers contributed, so that makes 15 teachers.
In fact, I will just add here, I don't know whether it is appropriate or not, but then the person who has asked this question, what to do about the college where only 5-6 people are there, they can get mentorship from the already accredited college under the Paramarsha scheme of UGC. And that is the right way, actually. Those small colleges can take the help of big colleges. UGC has come with a very fantastic scheme of Paramarsha. And then the mentor-mentee relationship can be developed between the 2 institutions also, not it is only between 2 students and teachers. But Paramarsha scheme is basically for mentor and mentoring of institution, one institution to other institution. So even though small institutions can flourish over a period of time. Elizabeth Madam, now you please take over.
Thank you, sir. May I request our judges to express their observations on today's presentation. I now request Dr. Balchandra Bhole, sir, to put forth his views on today's presentation.
Sir, please unmute. Bhole, sir.
Amit sir, can you do that at your end?
No, I did it.
Okay.
So what we found today was a very focused initiation of the webinars and workshop. And I hope that the participants have got what they wanted. And one thing I really found was that everybody was very much clear about what they wanted to say and get across. Now, I'm not undermining the level of expertise, but the level of expertise was excellent. Okay, I'm not over expressing anything or of that sort. What I just wanted to say was that when we are looking at that, it would have been like one of the people had asked also, that for the future speakers, if we can give examples from, let us say, colleges which are accredited or not accredited, right, then that would be a little bit better rather than giving something which was very appropriate but not directly relatable. The second part was the visual was excellent. And ultimately, I would like to thank all the organizers, especially Pahade sir and Badrunisa madam, for having initiated this whole effort. And of course, Elizabeth, thank you very much. I think I'm seeing you after a very, very long time.
Yes,
yeah. Dr. Joshi, खूप छान झालं. It was excellent. And I liked your summation excellently well, the summary. Sovani sir, thank you so much. And
Yes, sir.
that's all I want to say for now. If I have any other comments, details, I will send them over. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable inputs, and definitely we all will incorporate it immediately in tomorrow's session. Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Vinita Pai, ma'am, to put forth her views.
Thank you, Elizabeth, madam. I wish to thank Mr. Piyush Pahade sir and Dr. Badruni sir for inviting me as what they call as judge, but it was more of learning experience for me than being a judge. I also wish to thank Dr. Suman for kind words in the introduction. It is very obvious that all the participants are very well versed, very much into the criterias of NAC, and it was really a very enlightening experience for me. The team one did an excellent job of putting the definitions for these words, because it is so many people give so many definitions, but there was a lot of clarity in what they said. Yes, as rightly said, the examples cited were a little different from what we come to see in our workplace, but otherwise their narration, their slides, everything was very good, well organized. The team two, on the other hand, had a very practical demonstration of the criterias which they spoke. When I say practical, I meant they spoke about their experiences, what they do in their college, which is very relatable to us. Now, being relatable is very easy with the criteria they spoke. Maybe this is not the case with the first group, but yes, and they took slightly longer time, but it was very enjoyable, and the summarizing part and everything was very great. So thank you everybody for having me here and giving me this opportunity to listen to you, and I will take back some of the things you have said to my management. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your observations, and we'll all ensure that we put them into practice. Thank you, ma'am. Let us have a glimpse of what's in store for us tomorrow. Another session, exciting, practical. Let's have a roller coaster ride of what in store for us tomorrow. May I
Sound, Amit.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of IQAC Cluster India and Whitecoat Technologies Private Limited, we express our gratitude to our esteemed judges, founder members of IQAC Cluster India, our participants, our mentors, and last but not the least, the presenters for the day who have conducted an excellent session sharing their experiences. Thank you all for joining us in our pursuit of excellence. We depart only to meet tomorrow at 5 p.m. Thank you. Stay connected.
Just one small announcement. The feedback link is already shared in the chat box. And please, participants, give your feedback. It will boost the morale of all the teams who have presented today. Thank you.
Thank you all.